Good evening, everybody. I am meteorologist Austin Stantz, and I am joined by Ohio Valley Weather Watch senior forecaster Mike. How are you tonight, bud?
Doing well, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, don't we? We got the severe weather threat coming up here, and I know you've been doing a lot of forecasting, and we have a lot to jump into.
We sure do. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. This is for Sunday, March 30th. As you can see right there, the Storm Prediction Center has the entire region in an enhanced risk for severe weather. And then that's going to be Sunday. We're going to see possibly a little bit of severe weather, maybe earlier in the day. But the main event is 100% going to be PM into Monday. So Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon could be as early as 3 p.m. into pre-dawn Monday, maybe even shortly after daybreak Monday. Now, what we're talking about here, heavy rain, damaging winds, strong or violent tornadoes are possible. Everything is on the table. Okay, so let's go ahead.
So just to piggyback off you there, Mike, I
Yep.
think that something that we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes as we get into some of the models a little bit later is that there's still a lot of uncertainty as far as that timing goes because we could see multiple rounds and some of those storms that roll in could be strong to severe as early as around 3 to 4 p.m., as Mike just said. And some of those could actually be the ones that produce the tornadoes before the main line actually moves through around 1 a.m. And so we'll work down that timing as we start talking about those models here in a few minutes. But definitely be prepared for multiple rounds of showers and storms throughout your Sunday.
And you couldn't have summed it up any better than that, Austin. Let's take a look here. This is the Storm Prediction Center severe outlook for Sunday. And as you can see, enhanced risk already up. The entire Ohio Valley Weather Watch area is under some sort of a severe risk. Enhanced is the orange, slight yellow, and then marginal outside of that. And we're watching to see if the Storm Prediction Center may potentially up the ante a little bit later here. Let me go ahead and go to this next graphic. As you can see here, Storm Prediction Center very concerned about the intensity of the potential severe weather. We're coming up on a 50-50 chance right now. You see these hatch marks right here. That is at least a 1 in 10 chance of significant severe weather. Now, when we're talking significant severe, that's 2-inch larger hail. So you're talking golf ball size or better hail. Damaging winds 74, 75 miles per hour or better potentially. And of course, the tornadoes, EF2 or stronger. So, yeah, Austin, things are potentially shaping up to be a long, challenging event here.
Yeah, it's going to be a long Sunday without a doubt. And so, regardless whether you see tornadoes, whether you see hail, whether you see wind damage or heavy rainfall, I mean, some models have been predicting nearing 2 inches of rainfall with this system as it moves through. So, you're going to be impacted one way or another. As Mike said, just look at the broadness and the scope that the Storm Prediction Center has put across much of Indiana and most of Illinois as well. So no matter where you're at in those areas, if you're circled in those hash marks, you are going to be affected by either tornadoes, hail, heavy wind or heavy rains and strong winds up to 75 miles per hour, possibly even greater from that point. So just make sure to have a plan in place already. Right now would be a good time to start planning. And as we continue going further along and getting more data, again, now is the time because you have plenty of time to get prepared and feel confident that you have a plan in place for when severe weather strikes.
100% Austin. Let's go ahead and take a look here. This is from our friends at the National Weather Service. And as you can see, Saturday night into early sun, scattered numerous showers and isolated non-severe storms ending from west to east. Sunday afternoon and evening, here's the isolated supercell concern that Austin was talking about with the large and destructive hail and the strong, long-lived tornadoes. And then eventually, a line of storms is going to go through, and then that's where you're going to get your squall line, your winds, your heavy rain, that type of thing. So 6 to 10, 9 to 1, and then noon to 3, you can see right here. So this is the Sunday afternoon, evening, possibly into Monday morning as well, Austin.
Yeah, and you know what? To piggyback off you, Mike, I think one important fact to point out here is right on the top there. You'll notice it says time of arrival for main line of storms. So as we were just talking about earlier, there is a chance of some discrete supercells earlier in the day. So while this main line might not move through until the late evening overnight hours, those stronger supercells could be popping up as early as 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. So we have to really keep an eye on that. And again, just remember that specifically from the National Weather Service, this is talking about that main line where we're going to see those really strong wind gusts of 75 miles per hour or greater. We'll see some hail 2 inches in diameter and possibly some QLCS tornadoes embedded in there as well.
And here's other information from our friends at the National Weather Service here. Here's your primary hazards that I've already kind of discussed with you guys. Large to very large hail. And you see they're saying quarter size is going to be the low end. I mentioned the 2 inches, which is roughly golf ball size, but quarter size hail is more than enough to damage cars, knock leaves off of trees, especially with everything starting to bud out, that type of thing. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and tornadoes. And the best guess for now, 6 p.m. Monday. Again, we are thinking sometime between that 3 to 6 time frame, we could definitely see something going on there as well. So you want to be on guard at that point in time also, and then going all the way until 3 a.m. Monday morning. Okay, so and then 2 uncertainty pieces, the timing of the storms as we continue to get this model data, which Austin is going to dive into a little bit more thoroughly for us here in just a minute. And then warm air aloft capping may limit isolated cell development. Don't take that to the bank though, okay? Be on guard, have a plan, have a place to go, and if you come under a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning, execute your plan and you should be fine. Austin?
Yeah, no, that's a really great point, Mike. So as we said, have your plan in place, feel confident for when severe weather strikes, right? You want to have that plan in place. You want to know what to do in the midst of the chaos. You do not want to be scrambling. You want to feel confident that you have a safe and effective plan in place. Now, I know we're talking about some uncertainty and timing, and that can still change as there is still some time for this system to speed up or slow down as far as the timing goes there. But one factor that I want to point out is let's remember just a couple weekends ago how impactful that hail can be. We just saw in Owensboro how impactful that hail was in damaging vehicles, damaging houses. And the way that the hail was coming down at an angle was actually flying through people's windows in their house and coming through their skylights. And, we saw anywhere from quarter sized all the way up to, it was right around baseball sized hail that I had seen some photos down in Owensboro. But between quarter and golf ball sized hail can definitely put a nice hole in your windshield or in your skylight. So just be prepared for that as well.
100%. Okay. Hey, Austin, why don't we go ahead and take a look at some of that model data that you've got set up over there now?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me go ahead and pull this up here, and we'll take down what we're seeing now, and then I will throw up what we're going to be looking at here. And so when we first pick it up here, the first thing you're going to notice is that we have the day 3 outlook on there. So yes, we are in that enhanced area there. So that's what's important to remember. And then as we move through, I want to make sure. One second. Okay, there we go. I wanted to make sure that we were still seeing what I was seeing on my screen.
You're good.
I have a couple screens here, so I was just trying to make sure. All right, so let's dive right into this then. So we're looking right now. The enhanced risk. We said that's a very broad area, right? So we got to focus on that. Now, first thing we're going to take a look at here is the supercell composite, right? So the likelihood of supercells developing. Now, there is definitely some important data to consider with this, and that's as we're going to load this in right now, and we'll start to see as that supercell composite starts to move eastward as we make our way into Sunday. You notice during those evening hours there that you saw it kind of quickly. So I'm going to slow it down here for you so you can start to see it a little bit better. So we're going to go back now right here. Take a look at this. This is 3:30, or excuse me, 3:30, which is Sunday, March 30th at 5 p.m. You'll notice that the supercell composite gets a little bit stronger off to the south near southern Illinois, far western Kentucky, northwestern Tennessee. As we move into the 8-9 o'clock hour, that does start to move into the Evansville area just a little bit there. Can you see that, Mike?
Yeah, I see it. So when we go back to a couple hours, that 5 p.m. slide right there. Yeah, the 5 p.m. So it's coming out of the Bootville of Missouri, far northeastern Arkansas, and it's moving basically east northeast. Paducah will be under the line of fire there, and then Cairo, Illinois, perhaps Edwardsville, that part of the world, and then we get to a couple hours later, and then that's going to start bringing in Evansville into it, Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and so forth.
Yeah, and so now that we know that we're in this enhanced risk area, I'm going to go ahead and take that off so we can get a little bit of a clearer picture here. So I'll have to go to Outlooks here and severe weather, and we can go ahead and turn that right off and jump back in here. And so now we'll see a little bit better, clear picture of what we're looking at as far as the supercell composite. And so as Mike was saying, I mean, take a look at those colors moving east-northeast here from northeast Arkansas to northwestern Tennessee into western Kentucky, and then southern Illinois into southern Indiana here. These are going to be areas that you want to pay attention to, especially those deep purple colors, especially when we're starting to see those blues. This is that higher end of the scale for the supercell composite, showing much higher confidence that we could see development during that time. Now, if we jump over to the tornado parameters, and this is going to show us the likelihood of us seeing some tornadoes. And again, we're fairly confident that we're going to see some strong tornadoes for us as we move into the afternoon hours. And some model data is suggesting that a couple waves of rainfall could actually take some of the instability out of the atmosphere, but they're not in agreement on that. And so that's what's important to remember, is that if we don't see rainfall and we don't have a lot of cloud cover and we have that daytime heating or that surface heating, that any storm that pops up out ahead of that line of storms will have an opportunity to become a supercell and have some rotation embedded with it, again, indicating the risk of a tornado. Now, Mike, if you want to go ahead, and I will slide through here and you can kind of talk about these tornado parameters.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go ahead and talk about that. So the first thing I want to call out too, though, is that where these parameters seem to be the highest right now. Basically, if you are in Kentucky, in Trigg, Caldwell, or Crittenden counties and points west, that's where you really need to be on guard. Also, if you're in Illinois, if you live in Jackson, Williamson, Saline, Gallatin counties, or points south to the Kentucky and Missouri state lines, you guys really need to be on guard there also. And then as you can see, this is at 7 p.m. and that's nosing very close to Evansville, Owensboro, that area, Newburgh as well. And there you can see as it moves on, those better dynamics move on to the east.
Yeah, and I think, what's important to note here too, this is 7 p.m., right? People are getting off of work, they're headed home, they're cooking dinner. There's going to be a lot going on during this time frame. This is your early evening hours. So the good news is that most people should be awake and should be aware of what's going on. So make sure you have a way to get your warnings out there. Pay attention to the skies. While this can linger into the overnight hours, this is going to be a primarily, at least for the tornadic event, going to be be a later or early evening into the late evening hours, but not typically into the overnight. You'll notice as we move into 10, 11, 12 a.m., that's already starting to move off to our east there. So it's important to remember that during those commute hours on your way home and during those dinner time hours, that this is primarily when we could be seeing some of that severe weather, especially some of that tornadic activity starting to move in. And what we'll do here is we'll switch over to the reflectivity so we can start to see some of those showers and thunderstorms that are capable of producing the severe weather here. Let me just find the composite reflectivity. There we are. And that'll load in here in just a second. And so the thing to remember too is, especially with supercells, they have a much higher chance of being long track and damaging if they're going to produce a tornado if they're discrete and individual. So that's something definitely to remember there. And so as we move backwards here, we start out, let's just start out at midnight on coming into Sunday. So the midnight hour, things are a little quiet, maybe a scattered shower or two starting to move through some of the Ohio Valley there. You'll notice a little bit of broken cloud cover there. And especially, again, if we see that broken cloud cover, that's going to allow for heating throughout the day. Now, you'll notice that as we head into the morning, we could see a few more consistent showers there, but that again starts to break away. And then we head into the afternoon. I'd say right here about 3 o'clock, this is when things are going to start having to be on guard here. You'll notice into southeastern Missouri here and into portions of Illinois that we start to see these cells start to pop up here. These are some of those discrete supercells that we could see produce some of those tornadoes, especially into the early evening hours. And then you'll notice by 9, 10 o'clock into the 11 o'clock hour, they start to kind of form that line and become more linear, which can still produce tornadoes, but you'll be looking at more of a QLCS threat at that point, which usually aren't as long-lived, right, Mike?
Absolutely. So you definitely have to look, as I said, those cells that are firing out ahead of that main line or out in the open air because the main line hasn't even really gotten organized yet. Those are the ones that are going to have the highest possibility of potentially dropping a tornado if they can get high enough into the atmosphere, they can get rotating.
And I think what's important to remember too, as we said earlier, timing on this can change. The system could speed up a little bit and we could actually see things move in a little bit earlier. We could actually see things slow down a little bit, and maybe that threat does become a little bit more overnight. So we are definitely going to keep our eye on this as far as the timing goes to make sure that you are aware of when these storms will be arriving. But I think the most important part to know is that Sunday is going to be a day that you just have to pay attention to the skies multiple times throughout your day. This is not going to be a one and done event, right? As we move back into 6 a.m., we're seeing showers and thunderstorms there off to our east, off to our south, off to our west. We're just kind of surrounded by showers and thunderstorms. Headed into the later morning hours, again, some broken showers and thunderstorms there, possibly a clearing that we could see that could give some heating to definitely destabilize the atmosphere. And then as we head into that lunch hour, again, a few more showers possible, maybe a strong thunderstorm or two. And then by that 3, 4 o'clock hour, that's when we start to see things really develop there and start pushing into much of the Ohio Valley. And again, there's going to be multiple rounds of this. So Sunday is going to be an active day throughout the entire day. So do not think that, hey, oh, it's raining this morning, it stops raining for a little bit. It's not over. I promise you that. Sunday is going to be an active day from the moment that you wake up to the moment that you go to bed that night. You have to be weather aware, and that's probably one of the most important aspects that I can stress. Now, looking here again, so as we saw on that graphic earlier that Mike showed us, that line coming through between 9 and 1 a.m., 9 p.m. and 1 a.m., here's that main line right there. What we'll be watching out for those supercells is right here. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock p.m., we start to see some of these broken cells starting to develop. Look, Evansville right there. You have a broken cell. So again, these are models and it is data that's coming in. This is not going to be 100% accurate at this exact time, but we are going to be live tracking this as it comes in, right, Mike?
Absolutely, we are going to be keeping an eye on it. We're gonna go wall to wall, make sure that we keep you safe. Now, what I want to do here is I want to try to take a look at some precautions that you need to take while you've got the time to do it, because you've got all day tomorrow and probably at least part of the day on Sunday to do it here. So
Yeah,
let
let
me
me
go
go
ahead.
ahead and I'll take the radar down and then we can pop
Okay.
up. Uh, Here we go. Let me throw this back up there. There we go.
All right. Let me see that. Yep. There we go. So what you have to do, as Austin and I have been saying, and we've been preaching, I've been preaching it for years. Tony Merriweather, our managing forecaster, has been preaching it for years. Have a plan. You need a site-built location to go to. Mobile homes, vehicles will not cut it. Okay. Make sure that you have a place to go with a foundation. Make sure that you get warnings. Weather radio is the baseline. As a matter of fact, I believe it was Henderson County. I know for a fact that there's one county that the storms from a couple of weeks ago took out the sirens. So you will not have any outdoor siren help. Make sure that you have your weather radio, regular radio or television. You can also follow us. Make sure that you've got your wireless emergency alert turned on. Make sure that you charge your phone and your tablet. You want to assume that the power will go out. Know your location on the maps there, like on the radar that Austin was just showing, and on our storm watch radar and so forth. Make sure that you can at least pick out your county just by its shape. Okay, because if we've got multiple warnings going on, we may only have the time to hit your specific city one time. So be able to look and go, hey, that's my county. Okay. And you want to prepare. Charge your phones. Make sure you've got basically a go bag that has all of this stuff in it. Okay. And you'll
Yeah, that's
hear
probably one of the worst things that I do. I never have my phone charged during these events, and I really wish I did. So, especially now that we have those warnings that are able to go directly to our mobile devices, please, please, please make sure that when you go to bed Saturday night, that phone is plugged in. If you're at work, have that phone on your charger. You want to have a full battery for as long as possible out there. And overall, as Mike said, have this plan. He's touching on these great points here on what you need to do to be ready and to, again, feel confident when the chaos starts to occur. So, this way that you know what you're going to do and you are ready to keep yourself and your family safe.
100%. Hey, don't be scared. Have a plan, execute it. Here's the second piece of that. Should you come under a tornado warning, you've heard us say these things many times years as well. If you're in a car or a mobile home, you got to go, period. So many people think they can ride out a tornado in a mobile home or in a vehicle, and you don't even have to take a direct hit, and the winds don't even need to be all that strong. I mean, if you take a look during hurricane season, 75-mile-per-hour winds can turn cars over, and they can definitely knock mobile homes around. So you need to get to a site-built structure. You want to get low. You want to be in the lowest floor of that building. If you can get below ground in a basement or cellar, so much the better. Get central. Don't worry about northeast, southwest corner, all that stuff. Just get in the middle of the lowest floor of that site built structure. And then you also want to cover up. And that's important for you to have the pillows, have a helmet for people, batting helmet, bicycle helmet, motorcycle helmet, doesn't matter. So many times people survive the initial hit of the tornado only to get taken out by flying debris, or heaven forbid, a wall or something fall in from your house. If you protect your head, you increase the likelihood dramatically of you surviving a hit from a tornado. So just follow these four precautions and you'll be fine. Austin,
Yeah.
anything else
Yeah.
you can think of?
Yeah, Mike, I think you hit really great on the aspect of being in a mobile home. Especially in this area here in the tri-state near Evansville. I think one event to bring back is the 2005 tornado that went through Newburgh, Indiana, and went directly through that mobile home community. I think that if you were here during that time, you know how bad that tornado was. You know how much damage it did. And if you remember that mobile home park, it absolutely destroyed it. So, you, as Mike said, you don't have to take a direct impact from a tornado for your mobile home to even sustain damage. Strong straight line winds can really damage a mobile home just alone from that. So if you are in that mobile home, please, right now it is Friday night. You have all day tomorrow, Saturday. Have a plan, know where you're going to go, whether it's with family, whether it's a public shelter, whether it's a hotel. I know not everyone can afford a hotel. So if you can't afford a hotel, tomorrow would be a great time to start looking into public shelters. And again, this is going to be an event that happens during the evening hours when most people are still awake. It might last into the late evening and possibly overnight hours. But if it's already starting and you're awake and you're aware, this is going to be one of those where it starts out as the sun setting and becomes a nocturnal event. But you want to be prepared for the worst, right? Always prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
For sure, and based on everything that we're seeing here, we will be issuing an Ohio Valley Weather Watch severe weather alert day for both Sunday and Monday. Okay, Sunday and Monday, you need to heighten your weather awareness. You need to get your plan ready, be ready to execute it, most importantly. And the big thing, just stay calm. You make bad decisions if you allow fear to creep into the equation when you have to act. So just stay calm. If you hear us tell you it's time to go, execute your plan and you'll be fine. And that's about all that I've got. What else do you have for us tonight, Austin?
Yeah, so Mike, I think one thing that we'll touch on, if we can get the time together and coordinate together, we will start to break down as far as timing goes and specific locations impacted. I would say would be a good time to do that. Probably this time again tomorrow night. We'll have a much better idea of the specific locations that could be impacted, especially as that data continues to roll in. I know for a lot of people watching, we didn't specifically touch on Vincennes is going to get hit really hard, or Metropolis it looks like it's going to get hit super hard. I know we talked about the tornado parameters, and Mike said areas to be on high alert. But as we head into tomorrow, we'll have a really good idea as the data comes in on where those storms are going to start impacting communities. So if you're up for it, Mike, tomorrow maybe we can get on here and just focus on the radar and the future reflectivity, and start focusing on where the impact might take place.
Austin, that sounds like a fantastic idea. So let's plan on bringing another live stream to everybody tomorrow, and we can take a look at the future cast radar, maybe delve a tiny bit deeper into the data and get everybody ready for that Sunday, Monday time frame.
Yep, and I think we're as Mike said, wall to wall coverage as the storms are coming through on Sunday. So we will be here with you to help you get through that process and keep you informed and keep you weather aware. But most of all, like we've been preaching, Mike and I both saying that there's plenty of time to get ready right now. So we'll do another live stream tomorrow night. And by that time, as we're doing that live stream and you're finding out the areas that are going to be affected, again, that would be a good time to say, okay, I know that I'm in line for this now. I know that tomorrow this is going to be my plan. So we're here to help you get your plan together. We're here to keep you informed. We're here to keep you safe. I can't thank Mike enough for doing this live stream with me. He's a great forecaster, has a ton of experience, and definitely dives into the data and is able to relay it in a way for all of us to understand. So it's been a pleasure, Mike, doing this with you tonight.
Hey, sounds good, Austin. And for all of you followers here, please give a warm welcome. Hit him up on the page, put it in the comments to say hello to Austin, who has been gracious enough to join the Ohio Valley Weather Watch team as his spare time to help us out here and help us keep you safe. So a great asset to the page and a great asset to you followers here. So, hey, we really appreciate it here. So thank you so much, Austin. And that'll wrap it up for us here for all of us at Ohio Valley Weather Watch. Managing forecaster Tony Merriweather, senior admin forecaster Justin Burton, and all of the gang here, including meteorologist Austin Stance. I'm senior forecaster Mike Estwick for Ohio Valley Weather Watch. Thanks for tuning in, and so long for now.
Have a good night, everybody.